All right. All right, let's go. All right. Glory be to God. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Raul. This is Lifted Noise. If you've never been to the channel, what I usually do here is MPC content, tutorials, beat making videos. I do sample packs monthly on Patreon and live streams. So I've been mostly doing live streams lately. So what I want to talk about today is a few simple features I wish the MPC could do. So, and this is mostly going to pertain to like standalone, because while some of these things on my list may apply to like people who use software, most likely there's a way of doing it with software if you're using a computer anyways. So these are some things that you're kind of left out if you're a standalone user. Okay, so number one on my list, I'm going to try to make a beat in the meantime. But number one on my list would be an Autoload template. So older MPCs before, I'm kind of getting this doubling sound, kind of annoying over here. But some of the, okay, what was I saying? Autoload template. So back in the day, MPCs like my first MPC was the MPC 1000. So with the 2500, even with the 500 that I own, they had an Autoload folder. So you could put your template in there and or whatever you wanted, and it would autoload on boot up. So with this MPC, it's cool. Now this isn't like a super deal breaker feature. Like now we have a little button on the startup that says user template. So you make your template and it autoloads it, right, if you press the button. But you still gotta, it still takes a little bit of time. You got the demo sequences and the autoload and all that stuff at the beginning. So, but before we had that, and that was cool. So, but one other thing is, it would be nice would be multiple user templates, because when you do load up, you know, when you start, the start screen has all those demos. Like if those were replaceable, because no one really uses those, right? I mean, as from, you know, the sentiment that I get from most beat makers is they're trying to delete all the user, or excuse me, all the factory content, all the demos, all that stuff. We don't want it. So, I mean, why have all that space being taken up by all these demos? I mean, it's cool when you first buy it and you're like introduced to MPC and you can see what it can do. That's useful. But if you could replace those, and I was trying to see if there was a way of doing it, like by going into, well, yeah, if you go in here, you go to content and then you go to demos, they're right there. You can see all the demos and stuff, but I don't think they're replaceable. So, because if you went to, say I created a template, I went to save as, I can't get to that area. Like if I could, I was gonna see if I could just replace those with, like use the same names to replace them with my own stuff, because that would be a nice little hack. So, yeah, this one's important to me. So, in standalone, like if you're on a computer, okay, let me just say it. So number three would be copy and backup files or folders, entire folders within your browser. So within here, you know, you got a shift and you can delete or you can load all. If they put a copy and paste right there, that would be great, because sometimes I want to, okay. So, what was I talking about? So copy, backup file folders in browser. Like if we just added that copy button here, so I could go, let's say, go to my places, and I have like a whole folder here. Say I got my Patreon folder. I hold shift, copy that, and if I had like a dry USB stick in the back, because right now I'm looking at my SD card, if I could copy that, move up, navigate into my other drive, and then shift and paste, that would be awesome for whole folders or single files, you know. Because otherwise, I mean, what's the other method of doing that? You have to load it into your MPC, then save it again, which is okay. But if I wanted to do bulk backups, that would be awesome if I had that function. Here's one I think I've heard a lot of. So as of right now, the only way to, Okay, what up, D Mogul? Okay, I'll just a second. So I was saying is, as of right now with the MPCs, if you want to save a sample, right, you got to have the sample assigned to a pad, and then you hit the pencil icon, and then save current sample. Then you find where it goes and name it and all that. What would be great is if you can edit in the sample edit window. You can name your sample, or you can delete it. There's a little spot right there. I know it's not as easy as just because there's room for it right there visually. Then it requires some programming, but that would be a nice little spot right there next to the trash can for a little save file icon. As is, it's pretty good because usually, anyways, I'm editing samples with effects on the pads, anyways. So saving from here is fine, but having that as an option would be cool right there. Okay, so what's up, D Mogul? So you're saying you want to be able to merge two projects? That sounds interesting. I never thought of that. How would you go about that? Maybe like as a workaround, merging two projects. Well, I mean, you could go in and load individual sequences. So, like if you went to browser, and let me go to my projects. So, okay, so I have, if you click this little icon that's like, it's got the MPC folder crossed out, then it should show you this extra folder you don't see when that's crossed out. So right there's a folder for your project data. So if you click in there, you could load up all the individual samples. So in a way, you could merge those two projects by loading the individual sequences and programs and samples and stuff. So that's one way of going about that. Okay, here's another one. So say I'm in the keyboard. This would also be nice if we had like a copy and paste function in here. I used to be able to do it with my MPC 1000 with like the JJOS. It had a simple copy paste function. So if I'm like sound designing, I think, naming samples for one kit, right here you have to start from, let me see if I just record it real quick. So just a blank sample, or keep it. So it's called new sample. Say I want to call it kick. Say free 01. Okay. Now if I record another one, this one's going to be called new sample. Of course I can name it from here, and I believe if I name it from here, let's see, go snare free 01 keep, and then I record another one. It starts from that last file name that I named it, right? But say I'm doing my hi-hat, one of some real crazy features that you guys are probably thinking about for like the next update. But they be nice options to be able to have like functions. And then as well, one thing I'm just sick of seeing is like, so on the keyboard, and you have all your letters, which is great, but you click over here and get your numbers and your icons and stuff, and most of them are grayed out. So like I said, like if you work on a computer with the software, you most likely have a way around this. You can just type it in with your computer keyboard and name it with all that stuff. But I was curious, like if you are a software user, when you go to name something with the MPC, are all these grayed out still, or do they appear? So if anyone could answer that, that'd be cool. Just curious, but I wish we had these. I know like a long time ago, like when the MPC first came out, before like they started updating it with other bigger features, these were all there. So they're not there now, and they would be useful to have because when it comes to like the MPC file naming conventions, some things require certain symbols. Like I was working on trying to figure out how to do previews for MPC expansions. So like when you go into the expansion window and you scroll, you get a little preview sequence of what that sounds like. So for those, they require a certain naming convention, certain symbols which you don't have in standalone, which I would like to be able to do in standalone because I'm a standalone user. And I think a lot of people would appreciate that as standalone users. If you're a standalone user like me, like really just straight up standalone, um, then you would like to be able to do these things and not be left out, from what the software users are. So you don't have the complete capabilities you would have. So that will lead into another bigger feature that I wish I had. But back on to these simpler ones. I think this is one a lot of people would appreciate. This one applies to, I think this would apply to software users as well. Maybe there's a workaround. I don't know. But to load MIDI files to individual tracks. So, like, I'll load one up right now. I have MIDI files. I bought some of the Unison stuff. So I have a gospel and like a jazz MIDI chord collection. So I'm gonna go in here, just pick one. All right, open it. And so what it says the current sequence is used to load into the next unused sequence. So this is kind of inconvenient because you don't really want to make a whole new sequence. You wouldn't necessarily, you may have a drum beat already laid out and you want to load up some kind of MIDI file into an individual track. Now, if that was here as an option, that would be great. So I'll scroll over to that. All right. So now I have like a... So that's how that works. But I think it would be cool if, like, within grid view, you could pick the track, just go to whatever track, and then there's like a file folder load MIDI file option right there. So I'm guessing maybe you can probably like do a drag and drop thing if you're using the MPC software. But I still hear people asking for that feature. So that's a good one. And it's a simple thing we should have, right? But I don't think it's something they've had with the MPCs. My experience with past MPCs is they all work this way. So it just creates a new sequence out of the single MIDI file, even if it's just one track. So let me see. I'm gonna jump into the chat a little bit, guys. You know what? I don't think you can demogul plugging a keyboard in. I've tried it, as my memory serves, because I had the same exact thought. Plug in an external USB keyboard, and then you have like all the symbols. But no, give it a shot. I don't think it works. What up, D Royal? What's good? Bryant Wally, what's up, bro? Let's see what you got. Naming conventions across operating systems is restrictive. The symbols you see grayed out are not usable in most conventions. Some are reserved for coding things, which may be the case with the sound preview. Okay. Yeah, see, but being able to do that is leading me to like one of my other features. And what that would just be is being able to create MPC expansions from the MPC Standalone. Because as of right now, you have to go on a computer and there's a separate expansion builder tool, right? I don't know if you guys have done it, but I've done it once, and I'm getting ready to I'm working on putting something together. I was trying to get those previews just tested out because I've never made a preview. And yeah, it requires some symbols that I can't do from standalone, but I would love it. Like, this would be my idea. It's like if you could create a whole project with all your key groups, drums and samples, whatever you want in your expansion, and then in your file folder, up here, the file icon, have like an export to an expansions, and from there it'll build an expansion for standalone. It doesn't have to be just something that'll work for standalone users. That would be awesome. So, one sec. celebrating, drinking some Jameson again. I think it's been like 2 weeks since I've been back on a live, so I'm celebrating. Every time I sit here, man, it's a victory. So, yeah, I believe they are assuming that you would be using a computer to distribute the expansion pack anyway. Yeah, it's a good point. But I mean, it's not necessarily necessary. I've actually downloaded plenty of expansions from my phone, and luckily those creators, a lot of creators are, providing the standalone folder as well, so you don't have to go into the software and export your expansion to standalone version. Master Ivo, is it? I would love a master fine tuner to tune everything to a different frequency than the standard 440 to 432 hertz. It is possible, but pretty hard right now. Pitch bend. Yeah, for your whole project, I don't think you can do it. But of course, I'm guessing since you said, it's possible, what you're talking about is in the master section of your programs. You do have like a semi-tune and a fine tune. So you could figure it out there. Maybe if you had something like this, because I can turn this on. Oh, I don't have this for some reason. It was at 441. So with like something like this, with these guitar tuners or chromatic tuners, you have your A, whatever it is, what you call it, to set to 440. So I could go and I can change this to 432, right? And then let's see, I got like my piano. I don't have a keyboard plugged in, but let me see. If I go to notes, so I'm pressing A. So I could just press my note, say it's my A440, and then pitch it for the whole program within the master. I'm not gonna do it right now. For some reason it sounds, but yeah, you get the idea. So you would just pitch your master per program until it matches your external chromatic tuner. This is actually not even plugged in, so I usually have my main outs plugged into that. That's when I'm doing like some when I'm creating some key groups. Yeah, for samples it's easy, but not for key groups. Well, yeah, I mean that's what I was implying. You could do it for the key groups the same way with the master. Shouldn't be too difficult, because if you just do it on the master and you're just tuning one, it'll tune everything, right? But I'm not sure about MIDI, what you're saying, because MIDI you would have to deal with whatever that box is and tune that specifically, not within the MPC, I think. Father Dave, thanks for the Patreon samples each month. Good interview with Matt Stratton. Yeah, man, appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the good words. So moving back to my list, off of all icons on the keyboard, and then I was talking about, an expansion builder standalone, loading MIDI files. This is one that will be good for anyone. So like in your drum programs, so you got you go to the samples tab, click over. You got 4 layers. So what I'd like to be able to do is filter per layer. So right now, if you do a filter, I was gonna suggest effects per layer, but that sounds like that might burn a lot of CPU. I'm not sure how it works completely, to be honest. But if we could at least have a filter per layer. So right now, if I change the filter here, it's gonna change it for, it's gonna change it for all those. But I'd like to be able to like put a low pass filter on one kick drum, and then on the second layer I have another kick drum, which I like the mids, and I want to just do a band pass filter, and just be able to do it individually, be able to come up with some better layers that way, if you had more flexibility, you know what I mean? Oh, the plugins. So you're talking about so if I go to plugin and like tube synth and stuff, but I feel like maybe there's an option oscillator. So we have Yeah, I guess that's a fine tune on oscillator, mixer, envelope, LFO setup. Yeah. There may not be a way on this. Just reverb, delay, chorus, setup, output, shape, depth. I don't spend a lot of time in these plugins, honestly. I was kind of excited for the drum synth update, but I haven't really gotten into it. Yeah, so there's a fine tune that's for oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. They both have fine tune, so maybe that'll get you there somehow. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, you could always like resample your performance from your plugin and then just tune that, fine tune that down. What is it? I don't know what microtones would it be, like 8 microtones. Key finder would be nice. What up, Mikolaj Chizeski? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Let me go to the electric plugin real quick. I don't know where you'd even go. So yeah, I don't see a place for it. So, but that's interesting. How you might do that with pitch bend. C Bangs Beats, what's up, bro? No, 3.0 update is not out. I think we're at like 2.9 point something. So yeah, no problem, Master Ivo, excuse me. What's next on my list? Oh yeah, speaking of pitch and tune, I've been messing around with audio tracks, trying to learn those a little bit better. I put a sample in there, just whatever. Click on it. So we have some functions here. So we got like, we can fade out, we can change the level. Believe you have like warp and stuff. Well, you have warp and you have pitch. So I guess I haven't really messed with this, but my feature function that I wanted was pitch tune in audio tracks, which I guess I kind of do have here, but I haven't really messed around to see how it works. It's only with warp on, so I guess that would be it. So I gotta mess around with that a little bit more. Warp in key groups, standalone. I believe it's possible in the software. You can actually warp samples, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's possible. I was trying to warp in key groups probably a couple years ago. I forget who made this video, but it was like in response to me trying to do like pitched hi-hats, and dude had made a key group with pitched hi-hats, like I think like pre so they had note repeats built into it, but it also had warp on it in order that so you can change your pitch or the tempo of your beat, whatever, and then use that pitched hi-hat program with note repeats, all stuff built in, and it would fit whatever tempo. But I tried to replicate that in standalone and realized there was no warp in key groups. I guess I really haven't looked at it recently, but if I go to samples, there seems to be no warp in key groups, which would be nice making samples if you had a few samples in there. That it might sound like shit though, you know. I guess you'd have to have a pretty good warp algorithm or whatever it is, which I hear is better in the software, so that's probably why they have that. But in standalone, it would be nice. I've been making my own key groups, and I've been making some really simple ones, you know, like with one sample, and once it stretches down the keyboard or up the keyboard, it sounds like trash. So if you could have the same length of the sample throughout the keyboard, it'd be nice. But I still wouldn't be too positive on the results, because warp does tend to sound like, you know, you got all those artifacts. It doesn't sound great when you start stretching it. Line arrangement. Better time. What's line arrangement? You mean like what was that we talking about? like an arrangement view. Yeah, a linear arrangement view rather than just the song one that we have. What's up, Richard Brown? Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for stopping in. Always love the wisdom, the words you drop in the comments. I guess I'm kind of rushing through this. I was gonna make a beat in the process while I went through these, but kind of just been going through them. Yeah, I already mentioned the expansion builder in standalone. That's a big one for me. I would love to have that because my computer is just pretty much trash now. I don't use it. I don't use it at all. I've been using it for expansions, like, and that's about it. This one's a bonus. This one, but for standalone people, because if you're a software user, once again, there's a way around it. USB audio interface functionality. So, like, if we can use our USB that's, you know, built into the MPC itself and plug in audio interfaces and utilize the audio ins and outs of that audio interface, that would be super awesome. Then you could probably do some multi-tracking type of stuff with audio tracks. If you had maybe like a audio interface that had 8 instruments in, 8 different tracks, assign them individually, and that would be very useful. I always wanted like USB out function at the very least, just as like a video creator. I know a lot of people are into making videos for their beats, you know, it's just a beat making video or something. Like if the USB out that's used for controller mode only, I think now, if that was utilized so I could just plug straight into like a computer or my phone, ideally my phone, and wouldn't need like another audio interface. Just one less thing to carry around, you know what I mean? That would be nice, but not a deal breaker. I make things happen without that. I got, you know, most of us have audio interfaces, but it would be a nice little luxury. But the USB audio interface in and out, like plugging an audio interface in, you know, I hope to see that one soon, and I would think that Akai would jump on that because like its most obvious competitor right now with the Machine Plus, as far as like functionality and I guess the market, they have a feature like that. So I don't know how many interfaces work with it. I think if you go to the website and look at the Machine Plus, or you just Google like audio interfaces compatible with Machine Plus, you'll see kind of a short limited list of audio interfaces you can use with it. But it's cool because I mean, as is, you don't have like an XLR input. So if you could plug in that way and do that, that would be great. Three syllables, what's up? You have the Korg TM60, so that's something like, I have a Korg CA, I don't forget what it was. Guessing that's what you're talking about. Yes, a tuner built in. I think that's long past overdue. Adrenaline Beast, what's up, bro? Jabberinda Benz. Salute Lifted Noise. I'm late usage in the specific topic. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. I should have kept the live. Why is that? What was I just talking about? Why do you say that, Bryant? Talking about less things to carry around? Because you got a built-in battery? What do you mean? I mean, I did kind of like, I mean, it was a bad move in some ways. I already had the built-in battery. I ended up buying the battery that you can stick onto the side of the MPC ONE and plug in. Yeah, I mean, somewhat. I mean, what more does it have that the MPC ONE doesn't? It has the battery, but you still don't have like an XLR. Like if you wanted to use it, like a phantom powered condenser microphone. Although what I'm doing right now is I'm using a Rode NT1 Mini USB, which is a USB microphone, and so it's pretty simple. I got 2 cords. So I have the USB cord, and then I have the stereo RCA output that goes into the MPC. So That makes things a little bit simpler because I have a condenser quality sensitive microphone without having an extra audio interface to plug in between the MPC and the mic. So that's cool. But if USB capability was possible, then I wouldn't even need the RCA cable. One less thing. Yeah, no doubt, Mac. MPC Live 2 would be nice as well with the speaker. You really just turn it on and start making music. Yes, Adrenaline Beast, we do love the buttons on the MPC One. I do. I appreciate the extra buttons. Oh, you're late. Recap. Give an update on the specific topic of the video. My fault. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going through simple. I pretty much went through the whole list. Excuse me. So just to recap the list of things that I wish the MPC could do, simple features the MPC should have, which existed in some past MPCs, I think. So number one was an Autoload template. Two, multiple user templates instead of like all the demo sequences you see or demo templates you see at the beginning when you power up. The ability to copy and back up files or whole folders in the browser, so I could back up my files onto different drives or hard drives plugged into USB and the SD card without moving over to a computer, and be able to do that in bulk. Saving samples from the trim screen, just have a little icon here next to the trash can. I could delete them here, I could save them, I could name them. That would be great. All icons on the keyboard available as of right now. Like, so these are grayed out. They used to be there when the MPC was in its early stages before they started updating everything. Also, copy and paste in here would be nice, to copy and paste file names. Loading MIDI files to individual tracks if there was like some sort of file icon up here in the grid view, so you can load up a MIDI file to an individual track rather than the way that it works now where you go into the browser and you load up let me do it now. I'm just explaining it right now. So when you load it up, it loads the MIDI file to the next empty sequence, which isn't very convenient at all. Filter per layer would be nice. So like if you go to your, go program edit samples, you have different layers. Your filter applies to all those layers. If you could have individual control of filter per layer would be nice. Pitch and tune, semi-tune and audio tracks. This one that I wanted, I kind of realized there is a warp and a pitch and tune in there, but I was kind of looking for something independent, I think, of warp in order just to, like, I don't know, just something there. Warp is probably with pitch and tunes enough. Warp in key group standalone. Believe warp in key groups is available in the software, but not standalone. Be a nice feature to have. I want an expansion builder in the MPC standalone for standalone users who don't want to bother with a computer. I think Bryant said, well, I guess they're assuming you're going to distribute it through a computer, but standalone users may not have a computer. They may have a phone. Most people have phones but don't have computers. I don't know. I mean, computers are pretty easily accessible, but I'm just saying, like, I've downloaded plenty of expansions from my phone without bothering with the computer. My computer's kind of run down. I'm not really interested in using it for music stuff, but I would like to be able to build an expansion standalone. And then the USB audio interface, I think you probably came in for this one. Just being able to plug in different USB audio interfaces and utilize the different ins and outs. So like if you had, like I said, to the max, there's 8 audio tracks, and you have, say, an 8 input audio interface, you could do multi-track recording and have them all separated, on different tracks. Okay, going back in the chat. Select all notes button right in the sequencer. What up, Worm Juice? So in the sequencer, select all. Like within grid view or something. So you have shift. I guess select all. I don't know what that would look like. Oh man, for a minute there, I thought you said your USB mic was plugged directly into the MPC One. Nah, not yet. So, like, if they make audio interfaces compatible with through USB, then a USB mic would be compatible just plugging straight in, right? Essentially, it's this USB mic is just like an audio interface, same deal. So like right now, the USB mic has a headphone out. So like if all you had was a computer and a USB mic, you would plug the USB in the computer and you would monitor your voice or whatever is coming out through the headphone. So I'm using the headphone out to plug into the MPC, right? Computers are really cheap now. Yeah, I get your point. Sometimes standalone sounds ridiculous, right? But I don't know. I'd just rather not. A speaker holder would be so dope. I wish someone would make a 3D printed speaker holder for the MPC One. So, you know how if you guys have the MPC One and you've got the battery that you seen, who was it? I forget his name where I got the idea from, but a lot of people picked up the battery, right? And so, who was that? Can't think of his name right now. I want to pay respects because it was cool that he figured that out. But he put this adhesive tape on the battery, and I got this JBL little speaker, and I put some adhesive on there. So I got a speaker right there. Probably not what you're looking for. Yeah. Right on. Appreciate you too. I got you now. I had misunderstood what you were wanting from the use of the audio interface. My comment about the MPC Live must have seemed strange. Yeah, I'm not sure what you were saying exactly. So in the grid view, you have the select tool. Double tap and everything would be selected. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it'd be cool if you could at least hit shift and like select your notes, right? Hit shift, press the pads with the corresponding notes, and it would select them. Because audio tracks has shift capability where you can hold shift and then select different portions of audio, and it'll keep them all selected. So if they could make that available in grid view somehow and implement that select all, I think that would be a good option. Definitely. Okay, you got it. You talking to? Well, yeah. That's my list. Simple features I wish the MPC could use. Could do. I wish the MPC could do these things. So, should I make a beat here? I feel so rusty on making beats. I don't make many beats. What is that? Okay, we got like an audio track. Yeah. Oh, here we go with the wisdom. What we got? How is the Force, Bryant, man? That thing looks cool right now. With the latest update, you got linear arrangement. Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. Keep going. Tough situations build strong people in the end. Roy T. Bennett. We don't meet people by accident. They are. Sorry, I like these guys. We don't meet people by accident. They are meant to cross our path for a reason. Unknown. Is that one of yours, Richard Brown? You put unknown, huh? Imagine you're jamming and you copy the sequence. Go to the next, and now while it keeps running, you want to erase all notes. Oh, okay. How about while it's in overdub, do you know that you can, while it's in overdub, let me show you. So I'm gonna program like this kick drum. So while it's in overdub, you can hold erase and hold the pad with the sound on it. And as long as you hold it, it'll erase those notes, right? So now those notes are gone. I don't know if that's a solution for you, but that's something you could do. So you could do that with as many notes that are programmed. You could just hold the pad down while holding the erase button. You want a mixer for the MPC One? Yeah, like a different mixer. I've been wanting that. So you mean like an alternative to this? Your track mix and your pad mix? Like the linear view? Yeah, I've wanted that for a while. I think this is kind of cool because it makes sense with your pad layout, right? Maybe keep this for pad mix, you know? Or have an option of switching back and forth, but at very least, like for the programs, have a linear look, user interface for it. That would be cool. And then I think someone else said something about being able to name submixes. If I could see, yeah, because like right now you gotta jump through and go look at your returns and your submixes and all that. It'd be cool if it was all like in a line, and then I could see my submixes right there, and then like name my submixes and all that. For live jamming, that's too slow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I don't do a lot of live jamming and stuff, so but that definitely there's a lot of people out there that do that. I'm sure what you're describing would be very useful. Zach Gam, I don't know if they'll merge the two eventually, MPC and Force. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of speculation about that. Right. It's kind of weird because we're waiting for 3.0, right? And when the Force dropped, it already had 3.0, so we're expecting to like catch up with the MPCs and have everything the Force has. So the two are not compatible right now. Force is a different beast. Bryant, do you go over to the MPC forums? There was someone who had hacked the Force software and they're putting it on their MPC. I don't know if that's worth trying, but I'm good. I'm pretty happy. Like I said, I think we did the 3.0 wish list, King of Caesar and I. That's what I was saying. I'm pretty happy with it. Everything's just extra from here. This is a big jump up if you guys were working with MPCs back when we had like the MPC 1000 and 2500. Just having the amount of effects that you can use now versus how it was where you used to have 2 effects total max, and like the effects on those settings would apply to any sounds that you put them on. Like I could put an EQ and put individual EQs and affect them differently for every individual sound that I have in here, and it works that way. So that just having that to me is great. It's like a huge step up. I have one more. Worm Juice. When you load an instrument but not put it on a track, I thought it worked as a preset at that point. But it still loads as one instrument used. What do you mean? Are you talking about key groups or talking about plugins or what? Okay, when you load an instrument but put it on a track, I thought it worked as a preset at that point. But it still loads as an instrument used. I'm not sure what you mean. But it makes me think of one. Hold on a sec. A little bit of an interruption. It makes me. All right, so to repeat myself, what Worm Juice was saying has made me think about a feature that just had struck us when we were doing that live stream. Was about key groups, and I've really been thinking about that lately. If they could somehow make key groups, like if we were gonna have streaming straight from hard disk functionality, at the very least, make it for key groups. Maybe you could implement key groups into like the plugin somehow. Maybe have a key group plugin player that streams from the hard disk. You know what I mean? But keep the key group function so you can build your own key groups and then save them, and then have like a plugin expansion player, because as is, it's really like if you load a key group and you save a project, you have a second copy of that key group within that project. So that's taking up a lot of space that on your like little drives, your hard drives, your SD, USB flash disk, that could be used for other stuff, for other samples. So if we could at least extreme the expansions within like a plugin, I think that would be on point. I've got way too many copies of key groups saved within individual projects. It's just unnecessary. It's just a waste of space. And I guess the solution would be, I guess, to resample your MIDI and then just, delete and purge those samples from those key groups and stuff, and then save your project. That's a workaround to save some space. But you might want to hold on to that MIDI. You still could hold on to the MIDI and delete it. So there's always that workaround, but just imagine like a streaming from a hard disk expansion player within your plugins. That would be great. Okay, let me see. You can only load 8 instrument plugins. Oh, okay. I always stream from my phone, so I have these little interruptions. But Worm Juice, you're saying you can only load 8. I've never tried that. I haven't gotten into plugins much either. So that's too bad for that limitation. But like the workaround I was just saying, you could always resample, I guess. Yeah, Zach Am. I'm not one of the shit talkers. I don't jump on that wagon getting angry at Akai. Whatever, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. They have come up with a lot of progress with their updates, ever since like 2.4, I think is when they came out with the plugins, and we had the auto sampler, which is cool stuff. So I don't know. I got a feeling that the next one is gonna be a big update, like 3.0. If we get 3.0 next, like maybe we'll get 2.9.2. I'm not sure what we're on. Maybe we'll get a smaller one, but I think that update 3.0 is gonna be another really big one with some big updates. And just from looking at like past history, and it seems like whenever they have like a big even number update, like 2.4 was big, then like 2.5 was just like splice or something. Yeah. Let me see. I have MPC and Force. Putting MPC on Force would be like putting a Toyota motor in a Ferrari. Okay. All right, Force wasn't getting too much love in the beginning, so that's interesting to see that sentiment now. The Force looks like a big old clunky piece of hardware. It looks like a very useful piece of hardware, but I think that's one of the reasons why I probably haven't jumped on picking one up. And MPCX, but I mean those are expensive, so that's a real reason why I haven't picked one of those up. I wish we had a trim plugin in standalone mode, or even if Akai built one. I lost that comment. Or even if Akai built one and somehow on each pad, that would be a separate from our actual 4 insert slot. Okay. Let's say I want to load 8 plug-in instruments per sequence. So it still uses 8 actual plugins just per sequence. Presets would be different. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's as if right now, like once you load those 8, then they're locked into whatever preset you have on it, right? So if you were to use like you create these, implementation. Yep, there it is. See, I never actually seen that. Okay. Let's see what you're saying. Yeah, Mr. Florence, I'm not so like a trim, is that like the trim on a mixer? So like an audio level kind of thing function. What's up? Frequent. What am I? Frequently asked question. That's a hell of a screen name, bro. More in-depth MIDI routing, more than 2.8 gave you. 2.8 gave you a lot of MIDI routing, bro. Have you been? Yeah. So I was saying, like, when did you jump in? Because I think most MPCs are shipping with like update 2.7, 7 something. So if you still have 2.7, because I don't know when you got your MPC or if you've updated. 2.8 came with a lot of MIDI routing possibilities. Like a lot. Like you can hook up a lot of MIDI devices. Like as long as you have like one of those MIDI, if you have like a USB MIDI hub or something, or just like a USB hub, you know what I mean? Then you could plug into the back USB and like control. I don't know what the number is. It's a pretty big number of amount of MIDI devices you can control from the MPC. Easy way to undo automation. Yeah, that would be cool. I haven't been doing a lot of automation lately, but um, it's like either array, like you can delete it. It is fun. It's weird. It is kind of weird. I think they need to add the automation to the master track and to submixes. That also would be great. Give automation its own I don't know, like its own lane. I guess we have lanes in a way. I haven't looked at it in a while. Thanks for all the videos, man. They have really helped. No problem, Room Juice. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, it's a big clunky piece, the Force. Hey, what up? Peace, Alter Ego. Mr. Florence, the trim plugin for gain staging better that reads RMS levels. For sure. I'm not too deep into that. I understand the language. I went to, audio engineering school. Like, wait, know what you're talking about. Root means square or whatever, but I'm not too scientific with it. But yes, I'd be with it. I think the clip program could be more streamlined. I want to be able to launch all my loops quickly. I'm on 2.9.1. My name's FAQ for short. Okay, for sure. FAQ. I like that. Okay, so you're updated. Saying that, like, you're familiar with all the MIDI routing capabilities that you have now since 2.8, now that you're on 2.9, and there's just still not enough for you? Alter Ego says, I need the ability to be able to assign a drum program a MIDI channel or add MIDI channels to a drum pad inside of a drum program. Bro, that sounds confusing. I'm not sure what you mean. Let me try to read it again. Okay. Ability to be able to assign a drum program a MIDI channel or add MIDI channels to a drum pad inside of a drum program. What? I'm not. Damn it, I'm not following. Drum program MIDI channel or add MIDI channels. Add MIDI channels to a drum pad. What do you mean by a drum pad? Like an external MIDI drum pad device? So I did a live stream, probably like four, if you go 4 videos back, and it was like showing how to use different MIDI devices. Like it was 2 keyboards. I was doing 2 different keyboards controlling 2 different MIDI tracks or drum programs, key groups. It was 2 key groups, right? So what I had a keyboard over here and I had this one right here. They were both individually playing different tracks on an MPC. And then I could still go to a third track and play my drum beats here. And it's all like individually separated, so you could like jam with like 2 other people. But you could do that with a lot more MIDI keyboards and devices. Zach M, a clip. Okay. Wait, a clip, Zach M. Let's see what you're saying. What do you mean a clip, Zach M? Yeah, alter ego, just I mean if you hit me up on like Instagram, that's a quicker way to like go back and forth and like we can like shoot each other videos and stuff. And I try to help people out and troubleshoot a little more over there when I can. On the old MPCs, we were able to assign a MIDI change to a track. You can't do this. Like a MIDI change to like an external MIDI, like sound module or synth. FAQ. MIDI chaining can be difficult with USB. That's where I get lost. Timing certain hardware gets confusing. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's not much I can say on that. I'm not in that world. I don't really have any external devices, MIDI sound modules or synths. Just this is the main thing I have. It's just this little, and I don't really use it that way. It's just a controller. So I'm pretty simple, basic over here with my just the MPC Standalone. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not really the expert on the MIDI stuff. Like going out, I know a little bit about MIDI, but I don't use MIDI tracks really. I did like one time this video I made that was controlling the Akai MPK Mini Play, and you can do that at least like on a MIDI track. You can do program changes right here. Um, you could do like so once you have your Bolo got a video that shows how to route your MIDI to hardware and bring the audio back into the MPC. It works good. Okay, that's what's up. Bolo. Love that guy. Well, yeah. I mean, that's with some chords, I guess. I should have just been making a beat this whole time. I guess I don't know how to multitask and like talk to you guys and do a stream and stuff and make beats, but maybe I'll get there one day. This has been my goal the last 2 streams, to be able to mix in some beat making along with the whole talking and chatting and staying on subject. Let's go get a pianos. Recently got the soulful instruments. Let's load up this Yamaha piano. I don't know. Just kind of feel like chatting just a little bit. I'm waiting for UPS to bring me another keyboard over here. So I'm kind of excited about that. No big deal though. Let me catch up with the chat. If you have a kick drum on pad 1 and you're using standalone mode, you cannot use an external sequence to be able to sequence as you did the older MPCs. Oh, okay. So you want to be able to just sequence that individual pad separately from the other pads. Is that what you're saying? I got it down pat with 5 pinned in, so it's all good, just much less cables with USB. Ah, okay. Yeah. Alright. I think I want to work on a rhythm and poetry video. I also have this expansion that I'm working on. Who knows when it's going to be ready. What else? I don't know. I think that's about it. Just keep working. I want to just settle down, start working on my production. I feel like I've been on doing YouTube videos and stuff for like the last year, just like putting a video out every week. And I feel like I've kind of put a pause on like my production skills a little bit. Like I'm not focusing as much on like making beats as I am as making videos and learning that process. I was learning that process and how to edit videos. It was really trash in the beginning, got a little bit better over time, and now I'm trying to learn the live streaming thing, so that's not completely trash, just trying to get better at this. And that's all it is. But I do want to focus more on like my production and songwriting is important. So I want to kind of intersect those two. I'm not just trying to be a beat maker. I want to consider myself like a songwriter. So I want to approach beat making a little bit differently, where like I think I want to, as I'm creating a beat or a melody or something, I'm writing lyrics, like the meat of what the song is. And yeah, so I'm waiting on UPS. They're bringing me. I'm gonna take this off, and I got like a 37 key MIDI controller. I think it'd be a little bit more playable. Plus, I gotta say, with this off, playing with this thing, it's just like really super loud. And I wanted something a little more dynamic and sensitive. And I used to own a Korg. What was it? I forget what it's called. Korg. Ah man, I can't think of what it's called. It was a 49 Korg mini keyboard, mini keys, but it felt good. Had nice playability and like touch sensitivity or whatever. So I got a 37 version that'll actually fit on my little stand here where I got my MPC right next to it. So I want to work on playing my little and writing songs as I'm playing. So like as soon as I get it, I'm gonna try to work out keys and coming up with a melody and lyrics simultaneously, so that I'm making a whole piece of art. A whole piece of music. Because the way that I create right now is where I make beats. I make a beat and it doesn't inspire me to write. Like my own beats don't, and that's why I do like the rhythm and poetry stuff, where I'm taking like other people's beats and writing to and recording little videos to it, where I recite my poetry, my raps, rhythm and poetry. Yeah, so I just feel like if it's not working, I gotta approach this differently. I want to be able to make I want to make the whole production, make the beat, write the song, and do it all at once. So I'm gonna try that. Just approaching it differently. Let me show you. I'm gonna check the chat. Alter ego, you said no. I'm not sure what that was about. Sorry. Using an external sequencer. Right, that's what I understood. Like using an external sequencer to sequence that individual pad. Yeah, making beats does take a lot of energy. So like, yeah, so I've been more focused on making tutorials and kind of creating a space for myself to share, I think, my art kind of like ultimately. So, but yeah, I've been doing more of that. Each piece is a part of a circle, and the more you go around, the better the whole becomes. Balance. I don't know what you're referring to specifically, but that applies as very valid and wise in a general sense to everything. FAQ, your videos have helped me and a lot of others to reach new levels of creative expression. What you do is the truth. Wow, that means a lot, bro. That does. That's a great comment. I appreciate that a lot. That's ultimately the goal. I think it's like, because in this life, like you could have the greatest ambition, but what you leave behind is what matters, right? So you saying that's like, that's always number one. I think like it's like the driving first force, and the purpose is, inspiring, making people like, cause I just love it when I feel inspired. It seems kind of rare, like you come across, but like in the past I've come across, it's just the beat making videos. You see like seen like Marco Polo or Just Blaze. This was like a long time ago, like beat making videos, and it inspires you, or whatever it is, like a rap or a lyric or something. It inspires you, man. That feeling it gets, and it makes you want to do something. That's like the realest thing. Like, it's not what you can acquire. It's like when you do something, you're giving something away. When you create art, and that's why I don't hold on to it. When you create some art and you put it out there, you're giving it away. You're not keeping it. It's not about what you can attain. Certainly, I don't think if you can attain some money from what you do creatively, great, right? Because you can keep creating. But creating is about giving and leaving something behind. So that's a dope comment. I really appreciate that. I really do. Let me see. Adrenaline. I feel you about the vids. I've recorded 4 in the last 2 weeks. Wow. But haven't gotten around to editing the videos. Yeah. See, that's why I've always done things on my phone. Like in the beginning, I set myself up to try to be the most efficient as possible, And so I took those tips as like, just use what you have, right? I don't need to get this fancy camera or computer, because I just figure like everything is just another break in the workflow, the process of it. Like I have this fancy camera, I could record, do my videos here, then plug into the computer, transfer, use that software. I had to sit down and edit it there. No, instead I use my phone. My phone is a camera. My phone can record all that and record the audio through a USB interface. And there's an editor in there. I can edit it. And I've been editing wherever I go. It's like, I don't know, Adrenaline, where you're editing your videos. If you're on a computer, you're kind of limited to, maybe if it's a laptop, you could take it around, but that's not very discreet. I am literally, when I was editing videos, and it's going to sound weird, but I would literally edit videos in the bathroom. Seriously. Set yourself up to be super efficient, because all those little breaks in workflow can just slow you down and kill your motivation, your drive to get it done. You know what I mean? Alter ego. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that, but I think, you could, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a workaround. There's always a workaround for something. But yeah, Adrenaline Beats, I consider myself, I guess, Dallas. Some people would say, no, it's not Dallas, because the MPC is pretty much a DAW in a way. But I am computerless. I would say it that way. I am straight up standalone. I won't be like transferring my beats over to, Pro Tools or Logic to mix in there. I think there's a lot of stuff in here to mix, and I haven't mastered those tools enough where I need to be like, oh, is gonna make a big difference if I go in here and get this fancy plug-in. Now I need to just understand the concepts of mixing and realize that you have the basics in here for that. And eventually, when I finally get to it, record full songs in audio tracks in MPC. So yes. So my DAW is my MPC. I'm just computerless, to say it that way. I'd rather not mess around with a computer for many reasons. And I had a video on that where it was like when Machine Plus was coming out, I explained that a lot more in depth. Yes, 3.0 drop. So, I mean, I was gonna title this video different, kind of like bring you guys in a little differently, and like because the spec, I was having some thoughts. Someone asked a question about whether there'll be a new MPC coming. I have no idea. But what we do have coming is Summer NAMM. I don't pronounce it right anytime. So, forget what that stands for. But anyways, it's the convention for music instrument pretty much manufacturers and stuff, right? They got one like in January. They got one in July. So I think that's coming mid-July. And so usually at these conventions, they have announcements for new products. So we just got the Novation Rhythm sampler announced not too long ago in June. End of June, it was like the 22nd. That was like my last live stream. I was talking about that. I've got one on pre-order. So it seems like Akai to me, just because I follow them on social media and they seem to be a lot more active in posting. That to me initially gave me the indication that they might be dropping something new, something big. Maybe it's 3.0, maybe it's a new piece of hardware. Who knows? Then I thought possibly, they just got a new social media manager, marketing person, and they're just doing their job a little bit better, more frequently. So who knows? But I mean, a good time to kind of keep your eyes open is around those conventions, right? NAMM, winter, which is in January, and then the summer one, which is this month sometime. And I think it was initially like canceled, but it's back on with COVID things, regulations changing and stuff. I believe they're having an in-person one. So NAMM rhymes with ham. Nam, so it's NAMM. Okay, so thank you. So that's your way of showing me how to pronounce it. NAMM with ham. It's not Nam. It's not Vietnam. We're not confusing the two. All right. FAQ, in song mode you can press overdub, then it's easy as you touching the sequence you want to place an order. Yeah, that's a little shortcut. Yeah, that's a good one. A good tip. Yeah. John Jackson, what's up? Yeah, we're just coming towards the end of this stream. I already went through the list. If you're curious to what my little feature wish list is, just jump on the replay. We're just kind of chatting now. So right now, just speculating whether Akai is going to be coming up with some kind of big news, new piece of hardware, or at least 3.0 software. Hopefully 3.0 will be dropped, and I'm guessing some big features. As far as hardware, I don't know if you guys have seen that little leak. It was just, I don't know, it was like a what was it? It was just like a image of a Force keyboard. So I don't know if that's a real thing, but apparently it was something that was hidden in the code of like the latest MPC update. So it was like it said Akai Force 6, and it was like a 61 key keyboard with like the kind of Akai Force layout pads on the top. So that is probably not something I'd buy, but interesting. It's interesting to think about what might come out next. Like what kind of form factor an MPC would have, and would it really bring any more improvements that you wouldn't be able, like when are they going to cut off like what you can do with these MPCs and have like a whole different ecosystem? Will they eventually do that? I think as a business they might end up doing that, right? Because with older MPCs like the 3000s, let's say 60, and then the 1000, those had different features. It's not running the same software that you could just update like at any time and then have the same feature set as the others. So I don't know. I think people want an MPC X2. I would want an even more compact MPC, just a different like form factor. Make it less kind of like jagged looking. Make it rounded and a little more compact. And would I get the MPC X along with it? Maybe one day. I think I would really appreciate all those extra Q links and that functionality. But that for me would be some more growth in as far as like YouTube and like as far as just making money from this, I think. And or even just having a space like where I'm better like I think financially and just in my living situation because I live in a small apartment and this is my bedroom, so I just got like the room divider. My bed is like right over there. So I think when I have like a bigger space or at least a dedicated space, I might get something like that. But for me, I don't think it's really all that super necessary. Those are just like kind of luxuries. But with growth, I think real tangible growth out here. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice looking piece. Yeah. I mean, if you had the X, I would definitely just stay stationary, and then keep the one in the bag, and I don't have to pack it up. Cause like I pack this up like so I go to work and I pack this in my backpack every morning before work, and then I take it out every night when I come back home, pack it up. So I would eliminate that step, but that's luxury, right? Not necessity. You bought an original live, even with the live 2 being out. Yeah. Yeah, the live 2 was like it has all the like features for portability minus like the size of it, right? I just imagine that being bulky with the speaker. I had the original live. I had the original live and I thought it was awkwardly shaped and it took me a while. I couldn't fit it into just any backpack. Yeah, well, how do you like, John, how do you like carrying that around? Does that fit in your backpack or did you have to find like a pretty large backpack to get it into? I have the X for home, but I use a Live 2 for times that I travel. That's what's up. Oh, did you say it stays stationary? Yeah, you said yours stays stationary. Get much use out of that speaker? Okay. Do you ever take gear around to make beats? Live 2 was too big. Speakers are useless, and I did not need the CV outs. Fits. Oh, you sold it and got the live one. I see. What do you take around with you, John? You have an old M audio bag that live fits into perfectly? Okay. I had one of those bags. It's like a square M audio bag, like a backpack that's like rectangular shape. I think my package might be sitting outside. UPS might have dropped it off. MPC ONE, Zoom H5N, battery pack, JBL speaker, all in my book bag making videos on lunch break. That's what's up. That is what up. Beats at work. I use a Live 2 with Microfeek and MC 101. Moog Workstation. TD3. What is that, like Behringer? And a small Euro rack. Sometimes I just unplug everything and just use the MPC. iPhone 11 for camera, for videos. That's what's up. Yeah, John Jackson. I like what you said there. My inspiration comes from being around my setup. Yeah. Yeah, me too. Like this inspires me so much more. I mean, I don't have a lot, right? I have my stuff and it's all customized with these stickers and stuff. So it gives me a nice little feeling. And when I take it to work, like honestly, I say this a lot, is that it's not really inspiring over there. So like I'll take my stuff to work and pull it out. Or won't even pull it out. I'm just like this environment just does not it does not speak inspiration, motivation for me. Yeah, I did it early on my early times YouTube because I was really trying to grind and do it, but like I kind of feel like I've lost that drive. I just don't, and it's just I've been at the job for a while and no. I jumped outside to see if I had a package there because it looked like an update. I bought it off of eBay and it says update on your package. Um, but no, it's not out there. I just didn't want to click on it to see what it actually said because I'm not trying to do unintentional. What up, Bad Lucks? Good bags at Goodwill sometimes. I found Sega Genesis game bag I use for my MPC ONE. Oh shit, cool. I use a case from what is it, Magma cases. They make ones for the MPC Live 2, and MPC ONE. It's a good solid case, and then I put that case in my bag. It's like I think it's like $59. So you probably got a better deal on that Goodwill bag, the Genesis bag. John Jackson, I'm a minimalist dollars producer. That's what's up. Yeah, I kind of geek out on the minimalism. Bryant saying, I love that we have such a great choice of tools to work with. Each person can get what they need for their workflow. Yeah. Mr. DK greetings from Jamaica. Well, my ignorance is gonna show. Where's that, bro? Is that Africa? I see you got like the African continent on your logo. You have to go. Makes you feel better. FAQ. I found that limitations help shape good track. Wish I knew that before I bought all this shit. Yeah. I don't know. I've owned so much different gear. Like I'm a minimalist. Like if you look at my setup, if you can see it, I just have the Reloop spin, vinyl turntable, the MPC ONE, and a keyboard. Of course, I got like a Casio out there. My kids play with that. Guitars, not my stuff. Just kind of hold on to it. Just pretty much it. Phone's ringing. Oh, my bad. Phone is ringing. Oh no. Okay. We still here? Hopefully we're still here. That's one thing I don't like about streaming from my phone is getting a phone call. Eventually one day I'll be upgraded and have the computer and I'll move towards that and have a hard line internet and do all that. Have a nice little dedicated space, but for now, this is what I do because it's convenient and easy. But I imagine myself one day being able to do this all day, you know, make an income from it. Hopefully, one day, one can dream. Linda's son, what's up, bro? Peace and God bless. Yeah, God bless you, bro. Thanks for dropping in. 3 syllables. I mostly shop on Amazon. Can you post some Amazon affiliate links in the future? No, sorry, I can't. I'm not an Amazon affiliate. I'm actually affiliated with Zounds.com, and they prefer that you're not affiliated with anyone else. So, and I exclusively use Sounds for all of my gear, pretty much everything you see, unless sometimes they won't have. Sometimes they don't have what I'm looking for exactly, an exact piece at that time. So I might buy it from Amazon, but yeah, I don't do the Amazon affiliate links because I'm affiliated with Zounds, and I get affiliate checks from them every once in a while. So, yeah. Germany, that's what's up. Okay, got the MPC Live 1. It fits in my backpack, no problem. Good. Yeah, I put mine in my backpack for a while, and it barely fit. This before I found like the Magma case for it, and the edges really wore out from putting it in that backpack. John Jackson, favorite producers Jay Dilla and Peter Tosh. Okay, that's what's up. Had to shout them out. Bad Lucks. Do you know of any good chord progression packs for MPC or how to make your own? Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit earlier. So, I just you see the Unison MIDI chord packs, commercials. I didn't buy like the whole MIDI chord pack. I went to individual because they have genres. So I've bought into the Unison Gospel MIDI chord collection and the Unison Jazz MIDI chord collection. So if you go in there, you can load up one. I already got one loaded up. Where is it? So it's right here. And let me go. So if you load it, so you load it on a sequence, and so you got like just so you can preview it. You put your. Let me see. Where is this at? Let me load a new one just to be quick about it. So if I load one, it'll load it to the next available sequence. So I can hear it. Put a little key group on that. All right, that's a simple little chord progression. But if you click on, I believe it's in the track section, and you convert to progression, and you hit do it, then you're able to find your progression from that MIDI sequence, and then you can play it in your own sequence using those chords. So that's what I do with them. I won't use them like as is. I'll just export them to a chord progression that I can later use in Pad Perform. So yeah, I think Unison makes good packs. I think they're good for that purpose. Like if you're an MPC user, you can just export them to progressions. I think if you're like a software user, there might be better options because they have ones that are like plugins, I believe, like Captain Chords, or you can trigger everything rather than Unison being like a drag and drop kind of thing. But I think for this, where you export them to Pad Perform, is a pretty good use of those. Adrenaline, you buy everything from Zounds as well. That's what's up. Yeah, because they have that great pay as you play program. Like I think one of the first things I bought was my MPC Live when it first came out, and I think it was on a 6-month pay period, so I was spending like it was still like a big chunk, so it was like $250 a month. But I really wanted it, I was like ready to make YouTube videos and beats with this thing, and I was upgrading from the 500. So I did it on the 6-month thing, but my reputation has grown with them where I've bought in so much gear that like every time I buy something, I put it on the pay as you play, and like I get an instant approval. They're like, "Yep, send it your way," and like it'll be here in like 2 days or less. Duh. Interruption. Yeah, no doubt, Linda Sun. Just like I was saying, that pay as you play, best thing for the bedroom producer. Best and worst thing. But it's addictive. It sure is, man. Like you can just get anything for like, like right now I think when you first do the pay as you play, like there'll be like a 4 and a 6-month plan. But like I can put things on like 12-month plans now, and there's even like an 18-month plan where they're like, yeah, you're good, Raul. You can have whatever you want. 18 months. You take your time, pay for it. So yeah, no doubt, journaling. Make use of the progressions that way. It's a good way. Linda Sun, yeah, yeah, man. I have it on pre-order. I've gone back in my head whether I'm gonna cancel it or not, but as of right now, it's on pre-order, and I'm not. I feel good about just picking it up. Um, yeah, I've been like, it's not really adding anything to me to what my setup is. It's just like another alternative. I hate that it's like a monophonic sample player, So it has this keyboard version, kind of like key groups in the MPC or 16 level. So you take one and play it chromatically, but you can't play with it. Stream interruptions. But if it was polyphonic, I think it would be super awesome. So that kind of puts me off picking it up. But I'm hopeful maybe they'll change that, or I'll just make some workarounds. And I kind of want to make some YouTube content around it, make some tutorials, and do at least some workaround videos because I've got some thoughts about how to work around with the chords and stuff. But it looks like a lot of fun, and I've been watching like all the videos and stuff, like Gabe Miller Music, and he just said like, oh, well, it's just super fast workflow, and that just to me kind of just solidified it. Like I keep hearing how fast and intuitive it is. Like it kind of looks a little bit overwhelming because moving from one kind of piece of hardware sampler to another is like a whole learning curve. But I just like the idea of it, or the hands-on control of it, and just hearing how the workflow is super fast and easy. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think I would take some of those limitations too, even just for the simple ease and fun workflow that's with it. I think it just breeds like it could breed like better music, honestly, and that's kind of why I picked up the 404 because I wanted to make music without using my eyes completely, without looking at waveforms, without just kind of imagining the music and seeing it with my conscious, you know, eyes rather than my physical eyes. I don't know. I think there might be something to that. So I think I want to give it a try. I'll just keep it on pre-order and let it come. And the circuit will cut off here a second. 4-year, no interest, $19 a month. Dang. Well, yeah. So it's like a Guitar Center card. I have one of those too, but I end up paying. I think I've end up I with credit cards it's different. I don't know why, because for some reason I end up falling off with credit cards. So with the Zounds thing, there's no interest as well. So that's no interest, maybe, or it is interest after a point. Like if not, like you probably have to pay off. Really, 4-year no interest. You probably had to pay off. Like I usually see those like 18 months, no interest of paid in full kind of thing. But 4 years, oh, it was a promotion. John Jackson, I make my best work when I'm broke. I don't know why. Okay, don't you need to get out that mentality. You don't want to be broke and just because you're gonna make better music being broke. You don't want to be broke. And I think you just need to take that word out your vocabulary. Like words are real, bro. None of us are broke. We're not broken. You see the term like do you go to work? Like if something's broke, if it's broken, it doesn't work. But if you work and you get paid, you're not broke. I'm sure you'll do well with it, and it'll be cool as far as more content. Appreciate it. Amen. Behringer, is that even out? You talking about? Oh, maybe next summer. Yeah, Behringer's a funny little company. There's been a lot of controversy with them lately, but I don't know. I'm not sure how much of it's like warranted or how much of it's true, but yeah, that Behringer Jam little thing looks interesting. And then the sun, most definitely, bro. The SP-404A kind of has you use your instincts and get a great feel for the chops instead of looking at the waveform. So I understand what you're saying. John Jackson, no doubt. Lindrum clone, 12-bit sampler. Is the Lindrum's not a sampler though, right? It's just a drum machine. But the is the Behringer Jam a 12-bit sampler? All right, Bryant. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for dropping in and chatting. God bless. See you next time. Yeah, I'm probably about to jump off here too in a sec. Yeah. All right. If you do feel like support somehow monetarily on, if you guys aren't signed up for it, uh little incentives are some samples that I create, do some sound design, EQing, I guess, layering and creating of sample packs like drums, and I try to do a loop for $1. And I recently created another tier. If anyone's interested, I don't have anyone on there yet, but another tier for $5. What I'm calling drums from the ether. These are completely original drum sounds, technically field recorded drum samples. So these drum packs um, recorded by anything out the ether, out of anywhere, any sounds I can come up with and create into a drum pack, kick, drums, snares, percussion, that kind of thing. So making those sounds turning into something useful. If you're interested in that, check it out. I appreciate you guys. I ain't trying to sell you nothing really, and just letting you know. Just letting you know. And wait for my little keyboard to come in. Just kick back. Y'all enjoy your holidays this weekend. Happy 4th and all that if you're celebrating, barbecuing, having some drinks, lighting off some, letting off some stress, just chilling. God bless you all. Blend the sun before I go. Been learning the workflow on the Machine Plus, and after a few years with the MPC, I feel like I'm learning a new language. Yeah, like definitely, like the workflow, huh? And it is a new language, the way they word things, and you know, it's just different. Care, Zach M. Later, peace, bro. Thanks for coming in, fellas. All right, well, until next time, everyone be bold, stay humble, and lift noise. God bless.